Any second now. Here we are. Here we are.
We're here.
And how exciting. Where did we come from?
We're here.
I know. Did you have a good day?
Not great, no.
Oh.
It's always crazy when I'm getting ready to go on vacation and there's people wait till the last minute to get me stuff when I'm trying to have a nice chill day.
Yeah.
Shakes fist at sky.
Yeah, so this was your last day before going on vacation.
Yes.
I get it. And then, yeah, that would be annoying that everybody waited for the last day and you just wanted to sort of slide into the week.
Right? No, luckily I was prepared, but I'm still annoyed by it.
Aha. Hence, something that you can unplug from and let go of.
Sure, yes. It's melting away as we speak.
Mm-hmm. I unplug from almost pretty much every story that I come up with. I unplug from because I realize that it's just some story I'm making up to explain how I feel. And if I unplug the story, then how I feel usually takes care of itself.
Yeah, I mean, I just get frustrated because people don't do things my ways. I mean, that's always the story. That's generally speaking the story.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter what the story is because it boils down to people don't do things my way and therefore they're not doing it correctly.
Well, if you get frustrated, the best thing to do is like make a cup of tea.
I didn't have enough time for that. So
the next best thing is to yell at someone.
I did do that.
Did you? Did it make you feel better?
A little bit. I had to do it nicely. So.
So you couldn't really.
But then I drove in my car because I had to go from one location to the other location.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a little chill time, music, country roads.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Recalibrated.
I love your pictures. It shows that you see the world from a very beautiful lens.
Yeah, I mean, I always like to take, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter where you live. Even now there's, even in spring or even in winter when it's crappy weather, there's always still a lot of little miracles popping up here and there.
Yes, everywhere. We had great conversations today. Who did we talk to? We talked to Shelley, and I always enjoy talking to her. She's just such a curious human being. She's a librarian and a wealth of knowledge and, just really has some great insights. And I talked to Amy. Amy was here and she was with Amy Fraser. She's a creativity coach. And Patty Johnson showed up too. And I love Patty. So we had a nice three-way conversation about creativity. That was really fun. And then, I know I talked, Kathy this morning. We had a great talk with Kathy this morning, Kathy Fern. So I've had wonderful connections with people.
Busy day.
Has Spirit been talking to you about family at all, since family is our topic?
Yeah, so I was getting on my little downtime ride here to talk about a little bit about family and then thinking about our ancestors and thinking about how when we, not just our immediate family or, our family in memory, but I think there's a lot that goes on with not only information, good and bad, that comes down like genetically or DNA wise, like that stuff gets carried in our bodies and we don't even know about it. And then we don't understand, it's just like why you can have a great trait, right? Like a super athletic and your grandparent was super athletic and you can see the familial connection. But I think we miss out on some of the subtle things that happen there too. And so it's good to kind of.
We've talked a lot about how trauma physically gets passed down. They studied the children and grandchildren of Holocaust survivors, and the DNA was different before the Holocaust, in them before the Holocaust, and then the DNA they passed down to their children was different because the trauma had planted, some of that in the memory of it.
And I think the thing with that we don't quite understand is that DNA isn't fixed. You know, what did they say, like 90 some percent of our DNA, they call it junk DNA because they don't think it does anything. And I'm kind of like, wait till you guys catch up with everything that junk DNA is actually carrying.
That's
Because
how we felt about the appendix before, right? When the
yeah,
tonsils, we always had these, oh, you don't need that. We'll just take out your gallbladder. Wait a second. I need that thing. It helps me digest stuff.
it's doing something. Yeah. So I think that the same thing as with our DNA is we don't know what it all does, but I do think that we have the ability to fix and modify it while we're alive. Not necessarily, not only in a bad way by traumas, but then to fix that trauma and also fix the traumas we've inherited. So by working on ourselves, by clearing stuff out of ourselves, we actually get to recalibrate that DNA. And I think that's beneficial.
It's a flipping of a switch that happens is when you've got stress and fight or flight and toxic thoughts and you're dysregulated all the time, it flips switches it turns them on and off on your DNA. When you have positive thoughts, your body's in alignment, you're in resonance, you do things that keep you feeling harmonized, then it'll flip those switches to the other direction. So that's why they know that stress and environmental stress and being dysregulated will often lead to the worst case scenario. Whereas when you're able to stay in balance and really be in a loving space, you can usually avoid a lot of big problems because you stayed connected with spirit and you stayed in a healthy mental, emotional, and physical place.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm kind of seeing in my mind's eye is the idea of when you work on those things, and they don't even have to be yours. They could be carried down. So that's not even, you're not even fixing anything that you experienced. It's something that you've carried in. But they show me that when you fix it, when you clear it out, when you adapt it, it's kind of like a domino effect, but backwards. So it's kind of like it affects all the people before you, even on on an energetic level, if nothing else, right? It's almost like you fix it and then backwards, boop, 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 boop. They all get corrected too. So it's not only just stuff moving forward, but it's, time being nonlinear and all that. It fixes it all, correcting everybody's, kind of spiritual balance.
Well, what it does is it takes the story that we've been telling ourselves for a really long time about something that happened, and we turn it just a quarter turn. And now we see our whole history, our whole family, our whole timeline, everything as different. And it goes from this part of us was broken to, oh, this part of us was healed, was perfect, just the way that it was. And it comes into its own balance, its own alignment, because it has acceptance now that it has a place.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, it just feels like it fixes old damages, and they're not even your damage. It's nothing you might have even experienced. You could have the perfect life.
Right.
But when you fix this stuff, it's like you're fixing your grandparents' issues or your great grandparents or 10 generations back when something happened. And even if it's become a recessive trait in your DNA, it still kind of gets modified and fixed. And that way, moving forward, it just keeps growing on that.
Right. So, it's like getting all of you into alignment, getting your DNA into alignment, getting your spine in alignment, getting your habits in alignment. And I've been doing a lot of prayer and meditation and contemplation lately. And as I've been doing it, my body has been getting itself into alignment. So it's my sacrum's been unlocking. I'm able to get my own back adjusted. I'll do a twist and I'm like, wow, that part of my back never moved before. I'm feeling um, muscles that are letting go, that have been clenched for, who
Yeah.
knows how, and it's really interesting because everything in our body is interconnected. And so if you let go of one muscle and you've been holding on to it for 30 years, everything else in your body has to adjust to accommodate this new change. And so when you unpack emotional stuff and you work on being in the light, then your body naturally, without you even trying, heals itself and comes into alignment. You just have to give it the space to let it do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been working with that too, where I've had some back issues lately, and the reverse is true, right? Like when one muscle knots up and holds something, it's like rubber bands all in a line. Then it pulls the other one, which pulls another one. The next thing you know, the knot that's in your lower back is actually causing pain in your big toe. Mm-hmm. And until you realize when you're working that knot out and you're pushing on that knot and suddenly your big toe is throbbing, then you can see like, oh, look at that. That's connected to that. But it takes 4 different rubber bands to get there. And so as I'm kind of trying to work some of this out and let these muscles relax, then it all kind of flows the opposite way.
Yeah, get a tennis ball if you have one, and put
that's
it.
What I was using. That's what I was using last night. I have a tennis ball. Yeah.
Good. I usually put it in a long athletic sock so that I can move it around and pull it out and move
Mine's
it.
actually like a dog toy, so it's got feathers, almost not feathers, but like pieces, like. And so it's got something on it, so I can just be like, no, move it around.
Oh, that's cute. It's got feathers on it. I love it.
Well, they're not feathers. They're more like tails or strips of material.
So cute.
Yes, adorable.
Adorable. You're adorable. Yes, and being in the body work industry, working with energy work, body work, Asian medicine, as I have for so long, I'm super tuned into these things. And I'm just fascinated to watch when I meditate and be in that space. All sorts of crazy things let go. And I feel little spasms here, and this acupressure, point will release, and this will tingle, and that'll let go. And when everything gets into alignment, literally, your body works the way it's supposed to work. When you get all of the switches flipped to the positive, you get your spine aligned, when you get your emotions unpacked, really cool things start to happen.
Yeah, and I feel like that we're all, I mean, it's definitely a work in progress, right? You're never quite completely done. And even when you think you're done, then something else creeps in. So, but it was just making it feel like, when we do it and we figure out stuff, we don't even need to figure it out actually. But when we realize that we're releasing something, or we feel that we're releasing something, it's almost like the, collective consciousness takes like a, like, yeah, oh, you fixed that. We've been working on that for generations and we couldn't get that right. So it's like a multi-generational benefit.
Well, it's crazy because if you talk to somebody who's been in body work for a long time, they're able to look at people and tell you, old traumas that they had, old things that happened. And family members generationally will move the same way, because we learn things by being imprinted with it, by watching somebody. And if we're learning to walk and move by watching people who have a certain movement pattern, then that movement pattern gets passed down. They had this really weird, creepy story about, this kid that was raised in isolation. And, when they finally realized this was happening, she was like 9 years old. She moved like a spider, because that was, the only stuff that she had in her room. It was really kind of creepy, but that's how she learned to move and to walk. Yeah. And so generationally, our bodies are holding on to these patterns of contraction and worry and swinging your leg to the side and, walking more on one leg than the other. And you can see family members, they'll all walk the same way, or cultures, neighborhoods, they'll all walk the same way. And so you can even see that they're carrying the memories of generations past, and they just keep passing it down.
Yep. So that was my message for today, is that when we work on this, we not only benefit ourselves, but we benefit, and not only those moving forward, but those moving behind us too. It's always kind of a flipping the switch in multiple different layers and dimensions and times, and
so there's a
cleaning
lot
it up.
more going on than we realize when we take 5 minutes and tap into our breath.
Absolutely.
And see, that's what people aren't getting, is they don't realize that making it a habit to stop and connect doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. So it's easy to blow off. Like, oh, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to go for a walk. But they don't realize what they're doing is they're flipping their nervous system switch. They're telling the universe and their body that they want to be peaceful and calm. And so the more opportunities you find to be peaceful and calm, the more peaceful and calm you're going to be, the more healed,
right.
Which means you have to consistently, especially for a while, keep being like, nope, we're not going there. Nope. So every story that'll come up for me, I'll literally unplug from. No, I'm not going there. That does not serve me. This is what I've decided I want to be. This is,
right.
Where I've decided to move.
Just being very conscious, again, being aware of what you're aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're aware of it, then that's when you can modify it.
Yeah. You had to hop off, so I'm going to respect
I do.
Yep. Thank you. What a wonderful, wonderful visit. I'll see you tomorrow, okay?
Okay. Talk to you later.
Bye, Jennie. Bye, everybody.